Hey guys, hope you're doing well. I've got another Fret Buzz jam of the week. This one is a pretty cool jam. It seems like everybody enjoyed my sort of mini lesson before last time. Gonna try to do the same thing this time. There is a lot to pack in on this particular one, so let's try it. Let's jump in there. It could be a very in-depth discussion about modes. I'm going to try to keep it from being that. The basic chord progression, it says that it's a country backing track in D, Mixolydian, slash Dorian, and it says D5. That's a lot of information. Really, it's nothing but a D suspended 2 chord, a C, G, and a D. That's the whole backing track for the most part. So, that's... You could see G, C, and D and think, okay, I'm in the key of G, but we're not. D, and here's a fancy term, tonal center. D is the tonal center. Even though those chords fit in the key of G, we're not coming back to G and landing there or resolving there. We're resolving to D. So, really, this chord progression is a 1 if you're thinking in numbers. And if numbers don't mean anything to you, don't worry about this. Maybe we'll do a Nashville number system video. There actually is one of those on Casino's YouTube channel that I did forever ago. So look that up. Maybe I'll do a more in-depth one. But it's a 1, a flat 7, 4, 1 chord progression. So there's 2 things I'm thinking. I'm thinking I can play in D major. And I like to play that pentatonic shape right there on the 7th fret for D major. I know that is technically B minor, but B minor is D major's relative minor, so I can use it, and I will use it. And then I can also play in sort of D minor pentatonic D blues on the 10th fret. And I will use both of those, so I can go back and forth between major and minor on this, which is going to automatically make it sound cool. And I can do that at will, and I can do it all over the fretboard. That's why it's so important to know all 5 shapes of your pentatonic scale. By the way, there are 5 shapes because there are 5 notes in a pentatonic scale, and you can start it from any note. Well, that's another maybe good lesson video. So if you guys want some just straight up lesson videos, let me know, and maybe I will start producing a few of those. Definitely have had some ideas that could be good lessons lately. So anyways, moving on, I'm going to use both those pentatonic shapes. And I'm going to add an extra note to both of them to cheat a little bit and make it seem like a mode. Now, you don't have to know much about modes. Maybe you've heard people say, oh, it's a major scale and then you start from a different note. That is true. If we were thinking D Mixolydian, which is what you do when you got that flat 7 chord, all it does is take the C sharp that's normally in D and make it a C, which really makes that the same exact notes in a G major scale. You can't think of it as being in a G major scale though, because then you won't phrase it like it's in D. You'll phrase it like it's in G. So, for me, I just think of that D major thing, and I try to add a C note in everywhere I can. So there's a C on the, so here's my pentatonic shape. So I got my 7, 10, 7, 9, 7, 9, right there on the D string. I can add that C on the 10th fret. Then on the G string, I can play my normal 7, 9, but I could slide back to 5, also a C. It's that same note. On the B string, it's normal. On the high E, I'm going to have another C right there. I'm going to have 7, 8, 10. That's all it is. You will see me throwing in some of those diatonic notes in this, except for everywhere that there would normally be a C sharp. I'm going to play a C. Same thing over here on D minor to make this sound like Dorian. That would be the key of C, or the notes in the key of C at least. But here's how we're going to think about it. Just my regular old, good old, 10, 13, 10, 12, 10, 12, 10, 12, 10, 13, 10, 13. But I'm going to add in, on the D string, I can play the 9th fret. That's a B, by the way. Or the same B. Not the same B, an octave up, but a B, same note, on the B string, 12th fret. So instead of it being, I can actually add, I can bend up to that note. Those are going to sound cool. One more thing that I'm going to squeeze in here, I could grab my slide, and because of all those extra notes that we just talked about, I could find my D triad, right? If you don't know about triads, look them up. Learn triad shapes, man. Fantastic. Learn to see them in the scales. 7th fret, D string, G string, B string. That is a D chord. I can slide into that. It happens to be a straight line. So even though I am not, I'm going to tune while I'm talking because I sound a little bit out of tune. Even though I am not in an open tuning, it's going to help me fake it. So if I'm there, on my G string, I can slide back to that flat 7, that Mixolydian note, C on the 5th string, 5th fret rather. On my B string, I can slide from that major 3rd, which is F sharp, to F. That's going to give me that ambiguousness from like that D suspended 2 kind of thing going on. And then I can slide up on my B and high E strings to the 10th fret. I can keep going on my B string to the 13th fret. That's that flat 7 C again. Right over to D. So I got a cool little outline shape that kind of sounds like open tuning and standard tuning. Now you know all my slide secrets for standard tuning. I feel like I've spilled the beans. Won't see magical anymore. Probably never see magical in the first place. Anyways, hope that all makes sense. That's what I'm thinking. D major pentatonic with a C added in gives me a Mixolydian feel. D minor with a B added in gives me a Dorian feel. So I'm going to mix back and forth. I'm just going to go for it. Here we go. We are live. We'll see what happens.